The Breakfast Club isn't just a movie, it's a cultural time capsule of the 1980s. 5 high school kids, a brain, an athlete, a basket case, a princess, and a criminal, locked in detention for one Saturday. At first, they're enemies, but by the end, they understand each other in ways no adult ever could. It gave us unforgettable lines, a killer soundtrack, and a story that felt painfully honest about being a teenager. But behind those locked library doors, the movie's making-of story is filled with chaos, surprises, and some really weird behind-the-scenes secrets. These are 20 weird facts about The Breakfast Club. Fact number 1. Filmed in a real high school. The movie wasn't shot on a Hollywood backlot. Instead, it was filmed at Maine North High School in Illinois, a real school that had been shut down just 2 years earlier. The production team transformed the gymnasium into a massive library set because the school's actual library was too small. If you look closely, you can spot leftover lockers and hallways from the real building in some shots. Shooting in a real school gave the film a sense of authenticity that no studio stage could replicate. It felt like a real detention in a real place. Fact number 2. Shot in almost perfect order. Most movies shoot completely out of sequence, but director John Hughes wanted something different. He filmed The Breakfast Club nearly in chronological order, from the kids entering detention to their final walk across the football field. That decision let the cast live through their characters' emotions in real time. As the shoot went on, the actors naturally grew closer, just like their characters did. By the time they filmed the emotional closing scenes, the bonds on screen were real. And that's why the ending feels so powerful. Fact number 3. Emilio Estevez. Was almost cast as Bender originally. Emilio Estevez was supposed to play John Bender, the rebellious criminal of the group. But casting got tricky when they couldn't find the right actor to play Andrew, the athlete. In the end, Hughes decided Emilio's natural energy was a better fit for the jock, and Judd Nelson was brought in to play Bender. Imagine the alternate version. Emilio delivering those angry monologues and Judd wearing a varsity jacket. That one casting swap completely changed the dynamic of the film. Fact number 4. John Hughes wrote the script in just 2 days. The story feels so raw and emotional, you'd think it took months to craft. But John Hughes reportedly wrote the first draft of The Breakfast Club in just 2 days. He had a knack for capturing teenage voices and frustrations like no other director at the time. His speed didn't mean the script was shallow. In fact, it was layered with humor, pain, and vulnerability. Hughes said the characters came to him like they were real people, talking in his head, which is why their dialogue feels so natural. Fact number 5. The library became a pressure cooker. Because almost the entire movie was filmed in one giant set, the cast and crew spent long hours trapped in the library. It created a strange, pressure cooker environment that mirrored the story itself. The actors often complained that the lights made the room boiling hot, which added to their irritability. John Hughes actually liked that. He believed the tension would bleed into their performances, making the arguments and emotional breakdowns more believable. In a way, the library wasn't just a set, it was another character in the film. Fact number 6. Judd Nelson almost got fired. Judd Nelson, who played Bender, stayed in character even when cameras weren't rolling. He teased and insulted Molly Ringwald so much that John Hughes nearly fired him from the film. But Paul Gleason, the actor playing Principal Vernon, stepped in and defended Nelson, saying his intensity was exactly what made Bender so believable. Hughes kept him, and the movie gained its most iconic performance. Without Nelson's raw edge, the film wouldn't have had the same bite. His off-camera behavior blurred the line between acting and reality, making Bender unforgettable. Fact number 7. The actors wrote some of their dialogue. John Hughes encouraged improvisation, especially during the long conversation scenes. The famous "Who are you really?" circle scene wasn't entirely scripted. Each actor added personal touches, bringing their own teenage insecurities into the dialogue. That's why the moment feels so raw. It wasn't polished Hollywood writing, it was lived experience. Even Hughes admitted that the cast's improvisations improved the film. The honesty of those unscripted lines helped the audience connect deeply with the characters, as if we were eavesdropping on a real group of kids. Fact number 8. Molly Ringwald was originally considered for Allison. Here's a twist. Molly Ringwald, known as the Princess, was first considered for the role of Allison, the weird basket case played by Ali Sheedy. But Hughes eventually gave her Claire because the studio felt Molly was too recognizable as a teen icon to play the outcast. Interestingly, Molly actually wanted Allison. She thought it was the more complex role. If she had gotten her way, the dynamic between Claire and Allison would have been completely different. Instead, the contrast between Ringwald's polished Claire and Sheedy's dark Allison became one of the film's strongest elements. Fact number 9. The dance scene was totally improvised. The unforgettable dance montage, where each character lets loose in their own way, wasn't carefully choreographed. Hughes simply told the cast to go wild and be themselves. Emilio Estevez's wild, random moves came from his frustration that day, and Hughes loved it so much he made it the centerpiece. Even Anthony Michael Hall admitted he was embarrassed at first, but that awkwardness became perfect for his character. The scene works because it feels spontaneous, messy, and real, just like high school energy itself. Without a script, they created one of the most iconic moments of the 1980s. Fact number 10. The iconic song Almost Didn't Happen. Don't You Forget About Me by Simple Minds became one of the most recognizable songs of the decade. But the band didn't even want to record it. They thought it was too commercial and outside their style. After much convincing, they reluctantly agreed, and it went on to become their biggest hit ever. The song is now forever linked to The Breakfast Club, especially with that legendary ending shot of Judd Nelson's fist pump. Without it, the final scene might not have carried the same emotional punch. The music turned a great ending into an iconic one. Fact number 11. The library became a character. The film never leaves the school, and almost everything happens inside the library. But it wasn't a normal school library. It was a huge set built inside the gym. Hughes designed it to feel both safe and intimidating, with high windows and empty space echoing around the kids. The locked doors, the long tables, the silence. All of it created pressure, like a prison dressed as a study hall. The library wasn't just a backdrop. It reflected the kids' feelings of being trapped in the boxes adults had put them in. Fact number 12. Emilio Estevez's role was changed at the last minute. Originally, Emilio Estevez wasn't supposed to play the jock. He auditioned for Bender, the rebel, but Hughes couldn't find anyone right for the role of Andrew the wrestler. So Emilio was switched. The funny part? Estevez struggled at first because he didn't relate to the athlete stereotype. He had to study the physicality, the posture, and even the way athletes carry themselves in school. In the end, the change gave the movie balance, because Emilio's controlled energy contrasted perfectly with Judd Nelson's chaos. Fact number 13. Ali Sheedy created Allison's look. Herself, Allison, the quiet basket case, stood out from the group with her dark clothes, messy hair, and strange habits. Much of that style was created by Ali Sheedy herself. She worked with the costume team to make Allison look like someone who wanted to disappear into the background but couldn't help drawing attention. Even the dandruff snowflake scene was her idea. Hughes loved her input, and it made Allison one of the most strangely lovable characters. Fans still remember her makeover scene as one of the most controversial but unforgettable transformations in teen movies. Fact number 14. The film was shot in just 32 days. Unlike most big productions, The Breakfast Club was made fast. The entire shoot lasted only 32 days, with long hours inside the same library set. That compressed timeline made the energy feel more intense because the cast lived and breathed their characters nonstop. They weren't distracted by big locations or changes of scenery, just each other. This focus gave the movie its raw power, because the tension and chemistry you see on screen were real. The actors barely had time to step out of character before the cameras rolled again. Fact number 15. Principal Vernon wasn't acting off-screen either. Paul Gleason, who played the strict Principal Vernon, carried his authority with him even when filming stopped. Younger cast members admitted they were a little scared of him, not just in character, but in real life. He didn't joke around much, and his energy matched the role perfectly. Hughes encouraged him to lean into that seriousness, which made every confrontation more powerful. Vernon became the ultimate symbol of the adults who don't understand teens. And Gleason's sharp delivery turned simple lines into cutting truths that still sting decades later. Fact number 16. The cast spent real time. Together in detention. Style. Before filming, John Hughes made the actors sit together in the library set for hours, like real detention. No phones, no distractions, just each other. At first, they were awkward, sitting in silence, just like their characters. Slowly, conversations started, and those real-life dynamics spilled into the movie. This method exercise created authentic tension. Bender's sarcasm, Claire's defensiveness, and Allison's quiet stares all came naturally because the cast had lived that uncomfortable vibe off camera too. It blurred the line between acting and reality in the best way. Fact number 17. The movie almost didn't have its famous ending song, Don't You Forget About Me, by Simple Minds, became one of the most iconic movie songs ever, but surprisingly, the band didn't want to record it. The track was written by others and offered to Billy Idol and Brian Ferry first. Both turned it down. When Simple Minds finally agreed, they thought of it as a throwaway song. But once the film released, the track exploded. That final freeze frame of Bender raising his fist in victory, paired with the song, turned into one of the most powerful movie endings of the 1980s. Fact number 18. Judd Nelson's famous punch was improvised. In the final scene, when Bender walks across the football field and throws his fist into the air, that wasn't scripted. Judd Nelson felt the character needed a small act of defiance to close his story, so he just did it. Hughes loved it and decided to keep it. That tiny unscripted gesture gave the movie its iconic final image. Fans still debate whether it symbolized rebellion, victory, or hope, but whatever it was, it became a cultural snapshot of teenage emotion. Fact number 19. Deleted scenes could have changed the entire film. Several longer scenes were cut from the movie, including one where Carl the janitor shares more about his past and another where the students discuss their home lives in even darker detail. Hughes originally wrote a script that was almost 3 hours long. If those scenes had stayed, the tone would have been heavier and less playful. Instead, Hughes trimmed it to keep the pacing sharp and the focus tight. But fans have always wondered what the full version might have looked like, and if it would have made the film too serious. Fact number 20. The Breakfast Club was almost a series. Believe it or not, Hughes once considered making The Breakfast Club into a series of movies with the idea of revisiting the characters every 10 years to see where life had taken them. Imagine seeing Bender, Claire, Allison, Brian, and Andrew as adults facing new struggles. But after disagreements with Judd Nelson and Hughes stepping away from the idea, the plan was dropped. Some fans think it's for the best because the story's magic lies in that one timeless Saturday detention. Others still dream about the what if. And that wraps up The Breakfast Club, 1985. 20 weird facts you didn't know. From improvised punches to forgotten songs that became legends, this teen drama wasn't just about detention. It was about breaking stereotypes, about finding pieces of yourself in people you thought you'd never understand. Over the years, it's gone from a simple high school movie to a cultural landmark, shaping how we see youth, rebellion, and identity. So the next time you watch these 5 kids stuck in that library, remember, you're not just watching characters. You're watching the raw, awkward, and unforgettable truths of being a teenager in the 1980s.